Hello and welcome to North TV's presentation of our high school game of the week. We've got girls softball here on the campus of North Attleboro High School. The Milford Scarlet Hawks traveling to take on the North Attleboro Red Rocketeers. Milford is 1-2 this season. They've given up 27, or they've scored 27 runs and given up 34. North Attleboro, they've scored 16 and given up 4. Jared Ware and Del Malloy bringing you the action here today. Del, North Attleboro, you saw them last week against Taunton, a close game. Kelly Colleran was in the circle then. She's in the circle tonight for this one.
She's absolutely amazing. If you're a young girl and you think you want to be a pitcher, you got to get here and watch her before she graduates, because she's got it all. She's a great pitcher, good defensive pitcher, and quite a hitter too, and looks like a real solid teammate.
It's going to be a tough season for her and North Attleboro in the Kelly Rex division. Attleboro having a good start to the year. Taunton, as we mentioned, they're unbeaten as well. And then perennial power KP also in the mixer. So 4 teams that all have expectations to make deep tournament runs. Most of them, though, are in the Division 1 bracket, where North Attleboro being in Division 2, it's going to help out their seeding. Last year when they made the Final Four, they were the number 6 seed. I think if they have a similar record this year against the strength of schedule they have, they could certainly be one of those top 2 or 3 seeds in Division 2 and try to finally break through and win that state championship in softball, which has been the goal for Coach Wallace and the Red Rocketeers for quite some time.
Yeah, we don't talk about the coaches a lot, but I think Coach Wallace gives this program such stability. He really knows how to handle them when they don't have a good game, and he's behind them when they're doing well.
Kelly Colleran will deliver to Olivia Baglione to start inning number 1. Mary Ellen Charette behind home plate for the Red Rocketeers. Lucy Palmer at first. Molly Willie at third. McDavitt at short. Tucker at second. Foreman in left field. Hanwell in center. And Simmons out and right. 1-1 count now on Baglione. Heard a great stat from Coach Wallace before the game. In their 3 games, they've only had 12 outs that have not come by a strikeout, and there's number 13 with the fly out to center field, glove by Hanwell.
Yeah, I'm making a joke of it, but they almost deserve to have double warm-ups between innings, because that's the only time they're going to touch the ball.
That breaks out to about 4 non-strikeout outs per game to start the season for Colleran and the Red Rocketeers, as Ava Baglione, the center fielder for the Scarlet Hawks, will bat second. Kay Pellegrini is in the on-deck circle. Tough one for the visitors, who are 1-2. They lost their first 2 games of the year. One against Foxborough, 12-6. They lost to a really good Blue Bombardiers team, 21-3. And there is strikeout number 1 for Colleran, as she got Baglione to chase that pitch out of the zone.
Yeah, against a pitcher with this speed, you got to lay off the high pitch, even if it's coming across the letters. You can't catch up to it. So take a chance that the umpire is going to be kind to you. Focus on the waist on down.
So 2 quick outs here for the Scarlet Hawks. That pitch misses low to the designated player, Kay Pellegrini. If Pellegrini is able to reach, Maeve Driscoll will be up next. Maeve Williams batting in the 6th spot. Gianna Fernandez would be after that. Maddie Burns, Caitlin Kiernan, and Grace Bonina. Another strike fired across by Colleran. She's been so good. We've seen her now for the last 3 seasons. It's not surprising if she has 17, 18, 19 strikeouts in a game, as that pitch lifted high and foul.
But she's all about team, too. You've seen this so many times when a teammate, has an error or makes an out. She's over there patting them on the back. She doesn't focus on herself. She's team.
Down in the dirt, Pellegrini able to lay off. 2-2 count on the DP. Taunton game last week, similar to the first game we did last year here against King Philip. Low scoring, pitchers duel that North Attleboro just fell short in that matchup. And those are the ones that they're going to have to find a way to win as the season wears on. They lost in the semifinals last year against Tewksbury, 8-7, as Colleran ends the top of the first with her 2nd strikeout. 2 in a row to close out the top of the first inning. 1-2-3 inning for Colleran. We'll probably say that a couple times this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
The big question mark for the Red Rocketeers pretty much every year is how much offense they're going to have. They're going to need to score at least 2 or 3 runs in all these games to help Colleran out. And today they'll start with the pitcher batting first, followed by Ariana McDavitt, the shortstop, batting second. Then Molly Willie batting third. Mary Ellen Charette, the catcher, will bat fourth. Lucy Palmer bats fifth. Emma Hanwell sixth. Grace Simmons seventh. Julia Foreman eighth. And then Maddie Bailey, the designated player, will bat in the 9 slot, and they will try their hand against Maeve Driscoll for Milford, wearing number 5. And behind home plate is Maddie Burns at first, Maeve Williams at second, Grace Benina third, Caitlin Kiernan. Shortstop is Olivia Baglione, and then left to right across the outfield is Sarah Wengel, Ava Baglione, and Gianna Fernandez. North has scored 16 runs so far this year. Them and 3 other teams in the Kelly Rex division have given up less than 5 runs through their first 3 games. It's pretty impressive.
Sure is.
You look at some of the stats. The Kelly Rex has got some gaudy numbers early on. The Davenport, which North Attleboro left as back-to-back Davenport champions, is a little more up for grabs. Mansfield dropping down from the Kelly Rex as the Red Rocketeers fill in for the Hornets. Actually took extra innings for North Attleboro to beat Mansfield a couple days ago. 5-2 in 11 innings. You can't mess around with Kelly Colleran here in the leadoff spot. Coach Wallace wants to get her as many at-bats as possible.
Yeah, watching the infield warm-ups for Milford, they were pretty good arms, very accurate throws. Coach Wallace made note of that too. I'm sure that'll affect his decisions on base running.
It is worth noting there is a stiff breeze blowing in from left field right towards the first base bag. That will help out left fielder Sarah Wengel if she's called into action, as the first pitch from Driscoll misses high and out of the zone.
Yeah, Driscoll's got a pretty good arm.
Yep. Has surrendered over 30 runs so far. Most of that came against Attleboro.
Yeah.
21 runs surrendered by the Scarlet Hawks. I mean, last year was a banner year for the area. Taunton won another state championship. King Philip was a high seed. North Attleboro made the Final Four. Bishop Feehan was the number 1 seed in Division I before they got upset early on in the tournament. This year looking just as good, with the Blue Bombardiers starting out hot as that pitch is across for a strike. 3-1 count on Colleran.
Yep. Fastballs were a little high. The changeup was also high, but in the zone.
Colleran took a rip, could only slice it into the backstop. Yep. Full count.
You watch Colleran hit, Jared. She stays steady. The upper body. She's got a nice smooth swing. Her eye stays on the ball. The head's not going up and down.
She's got a lot of power as she'll take the free pass down to first, and I don't think Driscoll will be too upset about that.
No, not at all.
Colleran really packs a punch at the plate. And with this wind, if she gets it up in the air anywhere from right center to right field, it's going to carry an extra couple of feet, and she can easily leave the ballpark.
Yeah.
The shortstop, Ariana McDavitt, will bat second for North Attleboro. Is also the Red Rocketeers' reserve pitcher. So when McDavitt comes into the circle, Colleran will actually go out into the field at shortstop as well.
Yep. Aggressive center runner.
And North trying to manufacture a run early on, which I don't blame Coach Wallace. If you get 1 or 2 runs on the board as the opponent, that's got to feel like 5 or 6.
Oh, sure does.
In last year's tournament run, North Attleboro only gave up 1 run en route to the semifinal before giving up 8 runs to Tewksbury. In there for a strike, the runner goes. The throw down is caught by Baglione, but not in time to get Colleran, so she moves into scoring position. Count evens up at 1-1 at the plate.
Now you might see a bunt. Get that runner over to third with only 1 out, if they get the bunter out.
Williams and Kiernan on the corners are creeping in. I think Milford is expecting the bunt to be laid down. Curveball misses outside of the zone. 2-1 count now on McDavitt.
6 balls and the first 2 batters make a throw a strike.
2-1 offering. Hit in the air to right, slicing down the line, and that will fall into foul territory. And the wind helped move that the extra couple of feet to move that into foul territory.
Yeah, the wind will play a role today.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the outfielders to keep track of where that ball's going. It's going to be blowing from there right to left all afternoon, inside out down the first base line. Fighting off the 2-2 offering is McDavitt.
And we were talking about it earlier, Jared, with the new dugout roofs here. We can't see if the ball is fair or foul until it gets past first base. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, almost down by the first base coaches when we'll be able to tell you. Tell by body languages will be most of the guess, mostly the guess. But another full count here at the plate for McDavitt. This is 2 in a row that Driscoll is trying to work out of. Did surrender the walk against the first batter. And actually, that was the 3-2 pitch, so I was off there. So now we'll go to a full count. Hit on the ground, up the middle. Backhand for Brennan at second. She is going to get the batter, but the runner Colleran will advance to third.
That's a good at bat by the second hitter.
So fielder's choice, 4-3 for out number 1.
Good at bat. You did the job. You got the first run of the game over there on third base with only 1 out.
Yeah, plenty of ways now for Willie at the plate to drive in the first run of the afternoon.
Yep. The infield's in for Milford.
In there for a strike from Driscoll. On deck is Mary Ellen Charette. Key component last year behind the plate for North Attleboro. Ball misses low and gets away from Burns behind home plate, and Colleran will jog across for run number 1.
Yeah. That's a big run, Jared.
I think that one's going to be scored a pass ball.
Yeah. Infield moves back, and here we go. Let's do it again.
So North strikes first, 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Inside out, and Charette would have driven in the run either way. Misplayed in right field by Fernandez. Charette takes the wide turnaround first. The throw in time to get Charette for out number 2.
I'll tell you what, I would have done that same play.
Yep.
That was, you force the defense to do everything right.
So score that a single, and then a 9-6 put out for the out.
Yep.
So the first hit allowed by Driscoll does end up resulting in out number 2, and now Mary Ellen Charette will come up in the 4 spot. And the first pitch up and out of the zone from Driscoll.
It looked like the runner hesitated between first and second a little bit.
Yep. Well, it sticks with the aggressive base running we've seen from the Red Rocketeers so far. 2-0 count as that pitch misses low and inside. Again, each run so important for North Attleboro. Tough team to come back on. Misses low, 3-0 count now on Charette. Lucy Palmer stands in the on-deck circle for North Attleboro.
Colleran's probably saying, boy, what a good start. I got a 1-run lead.
And it's only come on 1 hit for North Attleboro.
Yeah.
A walk, a fielder's choice, and then a pass ball. Red Rocketeers successfully manufacturing a run in the first inning. Charette into foul territory. Full count on Charette. It's been hard work in this first inning for Maeve Driscoll.
Yeah. She's been a bit wild.
And this is only going to help North Attleboro as the game wears on. They've got a long look at pretty much everything Driscoll has. And the walk, the second of the inning, will be the second Red Rocketeer to reach base. Lucy Palmer comes up 1 on and 2 outs. And we have a courtesy runner for North Attleboro as the catcher, Charette, will head into the dugout, throw her catcher's gear on. Grace Foreman will be the runner for North Attleboro. First pitch to Palmer on the ground, and that will end up in the glove of Baglione, and a 6-3 put out for out number 3, but not before North Attleboro able to score the first run after 1 full. It's North 1, Milford 0 here on North TV.
W.H. Riley & Son has been delivering premium fuels for nearly 150 years. They also install boilers, furnaces, and water heaters that you can depend on. Today's heating systems use the latest technology, enabling them to be smaller but much more efficient than the equipment that used to occupy our basements. Let W.H. Riley's trained technicians install a heating system and give you peace of mind during our cold New England winters. Rely on Riley for all your heating needs. Asian's Garage has been serving the North Attleboro area for over a century. Asians provides 24-hour friendly towing and roadside assistance to get you back on the move. From lockouts to blowouts to dead batteries, they're your local AAA representative. Take care of your Massachusetts state inspections without taking out a chunk of your day. Asian's Garage, more than a century of service to the North Attleboro area. Paul and Nancy Bellum, owners of Bell's Powder Coating, are dedicated to the community and proud to be a presenting sponsor of North TV sports coverage. Bell's is an industry leader in electrostatic powder coating, a process that is environmentally green. Turning out 50 to 100,000 pieces per week, Bell's is one of the area's top companies. They're proud of their on-time delivery and quick turnaround. No job is too large, no job is too small, and their quality is second to none. Bell's Powder Coating, North Attleboro.
4, 5, and 6 due up for Milford. Maeve Driscoll, Maeve Williams, and Gianna Fernandez coming up for the Scarlet Hawks. They trail 1-0 as they were set down in order in the first inning by Kelly Colleran. Fly out to center field and 2 strikeouts for the North Attleboro ace. One of the increasing number of pitchers in Massachusetts heading to the Division I ranks. A couple times in the last few years, we've seen one for each team in games that we've broadcast.
Yeah, and what a difference it makes when you got 2 quality pitchers out there.
1-1 count on Driscoll. Bunt dropped down, and it spins into foul territory. 1-2 now on the opposing pitcher.
Well, you can see why she dropped that bunt. She moved. She got good speed.
Such a key piece to have in the circle. Opens up the possibility of winning it all. Now, you do need timely hitting as the year goes on, as Colleran runs it up to 3 consecutive Scarlet Hawks retired via the strikeout.
Again, swing it at a very high pitch. Got to be really focused.
Maeve Williams, the first baseman, now up for the Scarlet Hawks. Yeah, you either really need to have an unbelievable lineup or you need a pitcher, and that will get you at least to the Final Four. And then in that game, it's all about timely hitting.
Sure is.
You're going to have to take advantage of the few opportunities that you get. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Colleran. State championship last year at UMass Amherst, where Kelly's older sister was a member of the softball team a few seasons ago.
That's a beautiful softball field there, too.
Brother Dennis up at Northeastern on their baseball team. Helped North Attleboro reach the playoffs a couple years ago, and Kelly will be heading to Boston University.
All three of them fun to watch. Very serious about what they do.
Oh, what an off-speed pitch there. Had Williams at way out on the front foot.
Yep.
That's 4 in a row struck out by Colleran. The swing there from Williams was nearly completed before that ball even got into frame on that replay. And that's got to be the toughest thing in dealing with Colleran, when she can change speeds. If you're in the on-deck circle, you just saw that changeup, and then she rears back, fires the fastball past you before you even know what happened.
She's only 40 feet away, too. You don't have a lot of time to swing.
They're going to have to move the circle back eventually. I mean, the way things are going, you look at some of the other sports, obviously athletes are getting bigger and stronger across the board. And in this sport, it's so heavily tilted towards the pitcher that at some point it's got to move back another probably 5 feet or so.
Yeah. Well, the college pitching mounts a couple of feet further back, and that might be the first step. Just get it back a couple of feet. That gives you like a tenth of a second more.
I mean, I don't think the product suffers in its current state. I think it's very watchable and enjoyable for a lot of people, but I just think it's so heavily slanted towards the teams that have good pitchers that to kind of level things out just a little bit. 2-2, and that's 5 in a row struck out by Colleran. A 1-2-3 inning for North Attleboro, all 3 via the strikeout. And this was pretty much going to be predicted in terms of the ratio of strikeouts to non-strikeouts in this game. We read the stat off in the first inning, but it's just what Colleran does. Mows down opposing batters. Makes you wonder how good Tewksbury was last year to score 8 runs against North Attleboro.
Yep. Well, what I found coaching sports, playing sports is, as good as you are, there's always someone out there better than you. And as you go through tournaments, you sometimes find that player or that team, and you do the best you can against them. But in the long run, when you find those teams, you tip your hat to them, and it gives you something to work on that summer.
We were talking about it off air, how much it helps, or it's going to help North Attleboro playing Taunton and King Philip and Franklin and Attleboro this year multiple times. It's just going to you're going to be a little more battle tested heading into the playoffs. A couple years ago, we talked about Bishop Fion's girls soccer team, where before they moved into the Central Catholic Conference, their regular season schedule wasn't quite good enough for them to kind of turn that corner in the postseason when games got tough. And if you can get those good games in the regular season, you're a lot tougher to beat as the playoffs roll on, and you're in those must-win situations.
Well, you always, speaking of Bishop Fion, although they had a prolific scorer, you always doubt, are we really that good? Did we play anyone? Are we ready for this? And you get down a goal, you say, oh my God, there it is. And so the tougher, if you're a good team, you want the toughest regular season competition you can find.
Hanwell, Simmons, and Foreman coming up. I really believe there's probably not a tougher division in all Massachusetts, a tougher league than the Kelly Rex right now.
Yep.
Would not be surprising if there are multiple state champions out of this league once we get to the end of June. Cut on and missed by Hanwell. Driscoll delivers. Miss Lowe went outside. Driscoll giving up 1 hit, 2 walks, 1 run. Red Rocketeers left 1 on base in the first inning.
You can live with that production too, but not when you're playing against this kind of a pitcher.
Hanwell staring down a 3-1 count, looking to lead off the second inning by reaching base, much like Colleran did in the bottom of the first. And once again, first batter faced by Driscoll in an inning is given a free pass. That's her 3rd walk through an inning, and that will bring up Grace Simmons, who from the left side of the plate you would expect to try and lay down a slap bunt.
Yep.
Small ball could be in effect here once again for North Attleboro. Pulled back at the last moment by Simmons.
Yeah, she looks like a slap on her. I haven't seen an indication, but the bat on the shoulder looks like not taking a big swing, but she gets in a better position as the pitch comes. There she is.
Fouled off a home plate. It's Grace Bonina at second base is almost level with Maeve Driscoll. She's pulled all the way in.
Yep, that's a good bunt defense.
1-1 count on Simmons. Kiernan over at third also pulled in, so they're going to leave the first baseman Williams over by the bag. A little easier to cover as that misses outside.
What I used to do is pull an outfielder in, get me an extra infielder. So I had third and first in, and my shortstop covered third. I had another one in too, and I had to put a bunt down.
Well, Simmons is going to have to swing away now. 2-2 count. She fouled off that bunt attempt. She could also strike herself out trying to bunt.
She could.
Over on first base is Hanwell, reaching via a 5-pitch walk to start the half inning. And that miss is low and not unfamiliar for Driscoll, but facing a full count.
This makes it a little harder for the umpire, too, as she moves up on the pitch. It adjusts the strike zone, and sometimes you don't get a good call because you're adjusting it.
And that pitch misses high, so that's 2 walks in a row given up by Driscoll, as Simmons will head down to first. Hanwell over to second, and the left fielder, Julia Foreman, will step into the batter's box. Our first mound visit of the afternoon.
And now you got decisions if you're North. Do I wait out another walk? Do I put a bunt down and have second and third with one out? Or do I just hit away? So I think you got a few choices here.
Now you can definitely sense North Attleboro maybe sensing a little blood in the water here. Chance to put up a big number. Really
blood in the water. That was good.
Really put themselves in cruise control with Colleran coming back into the circle. Now visit there from Coach DeVito. So 2 walks surrendered in a row, no outs. Runners on first and second. Driscoll toes the rubber, and the first pitch fouled off behind home plate, and it does look like North trying to just advance those 2 runners on the base paths, get 2 into scoring position for the number 9 batter, Maddie Bailey.
Probably should have taken that. You couldn't get it down. It was too high.
Showing bunt again, drop down the third base line. Kiernan charging in. She's going to take the play to first, and the throw is in time. It does advance both the runners. So down to third goes Hanwell. Simmons over to second. 1 out traded to put 2 into scoring position, and up steps Maddie Bailey.
Yeah, good bunt defense by Milford. The first baseman played in, second baseman took the bag, took first base.
First pitch to Bailey in there for a called strike.
And feel in once again for Milford. Neither runner has to go if it's a hard hit ball right to a defender.
0-2 count now on Bailey as she swings through that Driscoll offering. Kelly Colleran in the 1 slot is up next for North Attleboro.
Yeah, you'd like to get this batter out if you're Milford.
Love to somehow turn a double play if you could, as that pitch fought off by Bailey down the first base line. Three walks right now have led to 1 run in the jam that Driscoll's in. shot down the first base line, and one run will come across as Hanwell able to cross for the second run of the game, and then Simmons heads down to third. So that's going to be a 3 unassisted there for Milford. So one runner in scoring position for Colleran.
That was well played.
And I believe they're going to give Colleran the free pass.
Yep. That's one of the new rules. They can just designate it, not have to pitch. Smart move by Milford. Got to play at second or first and take probably the most dangerous hitter out of the batter's box.
So it's technically going to be the 4th walk given up by Driscoll and Milford.
Another rule to speed up play.
Yep. So Ariana McDavitt, who is technically 0 for 0 fielder's choice in her first at-bat. McDavitt inside out to right center, and that will land in front of Fernandez. One will come across, and Colleran will advance all the way to third.
Yep.
Makes it 3-0 as Colleran over to third.
And
McDavitt with the single.
Good base running by Colleran, because that's a long throw from right field to third base, and she's got good speed anyway, so she knew pretty good chance she's going to make it in there.
Molly Willie comes up with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Pitch in there for a called strike, and the runner awarded second there. No throw down.
Yep.
It's actually smart. Don't want to start tossing the ball around.
Defensive indifference.
Yep. That misses just out of the strike zone. 1-1 on Willie.
Milford doing a good job of backing up the throw back to the pitcher. Both the second baseman and shortstop were ready in case it was an errant throw.
The wind is picked up here at North Attleboro High School. 1-2 count on Willie. Only 2 hits given up by Driscoll, but has surrendered 3 runs to this point. And with 2 outs, both of the runners are going to be moving on contact. Could get a whole lot worse here from Milford, or if she pumps across a strike, which she does not. There's a single, 3rd hit of the game for Willie. That's going to score 1, make it 2 as McDavitt slides into home. So Willie with the 2 RBI single, able to punch in 2 more. North Attleboro scoring 4 runs here in the second.
Very aggressive base running. This is good for North because they've been relying on the pitching and defense, and now maybe getting a little more confident in their ability offensively.
Yeah, it did take them 11 innings to score 5 runs in a win over Mansfield. They've got 5 runs here in 1 2/3 innings.
Yeah. So this is a big event for North. This could really mean a difference to them as they go forward.
It's fouled off into the screen by Mary Ellen Charette, who reached via a walk in the first inning. Our 2 out of the 3 softball games this year for North Attleboro will be on North TV early in the season. It'll be a couple more weeks until we get back here. So we'll get to see them, how they continue to develop as the year rolls on, as Charette swings through strike number 3. First strikeout of the afternoon for Driscoll. At the end of 2, it's 5-0 North Attleboro.
Paul and Nancy Bellum, owners of Bell's Powder Coating, are dedicated to the community and proud to be a presenting sponsor of North TV sports coverage. Bell's is an industry leader in electrostatic powder coating, a process that is environmentally green. Turning out 50 to 100,000 pieces per week, Bell's is one of the area's top companies. They're proud of their on-time delivery and quick turnaround. No job is too large, no job is too small, and their quality is second to none. Bell's Powder Coating, North Attleboro. Box Seats, a presenting sponsor of high school sports on North TV, is the place to be before or after the big game. They're also the place to watch the big game, with TVs in every room and the NFL Sunday ticket to catch your favorite team home or away. Box Seats has a lineup of menu items second to none that include grilled pizza, fish and chips, burgers, and more. Box Seats also has over 70 gluten-free items to choose from. Box Seats is located in Tower Square at the corner of Route 1 and Elm Street in North Attleboro. W.H. Riley & Son has been delivering premium fuels for nearly 150 years. They also install boilers, furnaces, and water heaters that you can depend on. Today's heating systems use the latest technology, enabling them to be smaller but much more efficient than the equipment that used to occupy our basements. Let W.H. Riley's trained technicians install a heating system and give you peace of mind during our cold New England winters. Rely on Riley for all your heating needs.
Third inning here from North Attleboro High School. North Attleboro with the 5-run lead over Milford. 7, 8, 9 coming up for the Scarlet Hawks, trying to knock a dent into the outing from Kelly Colleran. She is retired 6 in a row to start the game, 5 of them in a row by strikeout. And once again, jumps in front of the first batter of this half inning, the catcher, Maddie Burns.
You really have an advantage if you choke up. You got to make that back quicker.
0-1 count on Burns. Make that 0-2. Again, one of the big wind gusts here this afternoon.
Besides me talking.
Early season up here at North Attleboro High School, one of the highest points in town. Usually does get windy up here for the first few weeks of the spring season. That pitch misses low and out of the zone. 1-2 now on Burns. And the wind will only help the pitchers here today, which Colleran certainly doesn't need.
No.
There's another strikeout. That is number 6 and 6 in a row. And that will bring up Caitlin Kernan, the third baseman who bats in the 8 slot. Olivia Baglione started the game with a fly out to center field. One of the few Scarlet Hawks to make contact with an offering from Colleran.
Oh, way over ahead.
Kieran maybe a little overexcited there and helping out Colleran. That was well above eye level. Just like that, ahead 0-2. On deck is Grace Bonina. In there for a called strike. 7 in a row for Colleran.
You have to marvel at this. It's every time we do a North game, we're seeing almost perfection.
It really is unbelievable. I think we've both seen a lot of softball games in our lifetime. You see some really, really good pitchers, but none who are this dominant, especially with the amount of strikeouts she racks up. And just like that is ahead of Grace Bonina. On deck is Olivia Baglione.
The only way the defenders for North can get any action is if they take turns catching.
0-2 count. I was going to make the point, you wonder if at some point it, in a weird way, hurts North Attleboro when they do play a team who's able to put a ball into play. I mean, you spend such a large part of the year not really doing much if you're one of these outfield players for North Attleboro.
Well, I think it does. In the 15th game of the year, they've had about as much action defensively as most teams have in 2. So it's got to have an effect, especially as the games get more important and you get a little more, say, edgy or nervous in them.
And there's called strike 3, so that's 8 in a row for Colleran. And the third consecutive 1-2-3 inning for North Attleboro.
Now, if you're the Milford coach, you've got to find a way to keep your team up. That's a challenge.
You feel like at 1-0, it's a little easier of a pitch to make, but when you're down 5, I mean, it is a mountain to climb. But I guess all you can say is that Colleran did give up 8 runs in a game once last year, so it's not impossible.
But she's not even throwing balls.
No,
Everything out of
no.
her hand today is like last game we saw against Taunton. There were a few balls thrown. These are all strikes.
Well, you look at the stats the last few years. That's the most amazing thing. She strikes out a ton of batters, but almost never walks anybody. Her walk numbers in 3.5 seasons is unbelievable.
It's like most pitches strikeouts.
Yep.
The other thing I find interesting, she takes hardly any warm-up throws between innings. She gets out there, it looks like about 2-3 throws. I'm ready. Let's go. You won't need a pitch clock when she's on the mound.
No, I mean, I wish we were keeping a running tally of how long North has been out in the field. It's probably less than 4 minutes real time.
Yeah. You better not blink. You'll miss a half inning.
Palmer, Hanwell, and Simmons all coming up for North Attleboro. And they scored the 4 runs in the last inning. Control has been an issue for Driscoll. 5 walks so far this afternoon.
Well, she's got to be practically perfect.
5 walks, 5 runs. Not the stat line that the Scarlet Hawks were looking for coming into this one.
No.
Hit on the ground towards third. That's going to get underneath the glove of both Baglione and Kiernan. And the leadoff batter is on for the 3rd straight inning for North Attleboro.
Good North hitting the ball. This is great.
So Palmer with the leadoff single, and we'll bring up Emma Hanwell, who reached via a walk and scored a run in the 2nd inning. North very nearly batted around in the 2nd inning.
Well, Milford's now going once through the order, and they'll be coming up in the 4th inning.
Yeah. Yeah, Colleran, if things go well for North here in this inning, might get her 3rd at-bat before Baglione will get her 2nd from Milford.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Bunt popped straight up in the air, and the catcher Burns was tracking it the whole way, but the wind just pushed it just far enough away to give Hanwell another shot.
You know, she called for it, but the pitcher really had the best angle on that. She could have run straight into it. But you're a good teammate. She calls her ball.
So Hanwell goes back to the plate. And she cuts through the Driscoll offering. That's the 2nd strikeout for Maeve Driscoll. Grace Simmons comes up to the plate with a runner on. Simmons reached via a walk in the 2nd inning, scored one of those 4 runs. And she takes the first ball there from Driscoll. In there for a strike right at the top of the zone there on Simmons. It's been a staple in this 6 or 7 slot in the lineup for North Attleboro the last season and a half. Now looking at a 1-2 count. Remember her last year having a 3-hit game down here. Big one for her. Helped spur North to a win. 2-2, the runner goes from first and no throw from Burns. Palmer gets a free pass over to 2nd.
Yeah, good timing. Good timing on that steal.
Puts a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Simmons cuts through, and that's the 2nd straight strikeout for Driscoll, her 3rd of the afternoon. Now down to their last out in the 3rd inning are the Red Rocketeers. Julia Foreman still with a chance to drive in Palmer down on 2nd. Swung on and missed by Foreman. Grounded out to the shortstop, Baglione, in her first plate appearance. Pitch missed inside, 1-1. Bonina jogging over from second base to the bag just to make sure Palmer doesn't get a free ride over to third. 1-2 count now on Foreman. Driscoll looking to match her opposite number Colleran with a 3 strikeout in a row half inning. Miss low, 2-2.
She's not so fast that you have to be on edge. You can wait and wait for that pitch to come in and really get a good look at it. But if she's accurate, it changes everything.
And it is cut on and missed by Foreman, so that's 3 in a row for Driscoll via the strikeout. North Attleboro, for the first time this afternoon, unable to score in an inning. They still got the 5-run lead here on North TV. We'll be back with the 4th inning in just a moment.
Box Seats, a presenting sponsor of high school sports on North TV, is the place to be before or after the big game. They're also the place to watch the big game, with TVs in every room and the NFL Sunday ticket to catch your favorite team home or away. Box Seats has a lineup of menu items second to none that include grilled pizza, fish and chips, burgers, and more. Box Seats also has over 70 gluten-free items to choose from. Box Seats is located in Tower Square at the corner of Route 1 and Elm Street in North Attleboro. W.H. Riley & Son has been delivering premium fuels for nearly 150 years. They also install boilers, furnaces, and water heaters that you can depend on. Today's heating systems use the latest technology, enabling them to be smaller but much more efficient than the equipment that used to occupy our basements. Let W.H. Riley's trained technicians install a heating system and give you peace of mind during our cold New England winters. Rely on Riley for all your heating needs.
1, 2, and 3 coming up for Milford here in the 4th inning. Olivia Baglione, Ava Baglione, and Kay Pellegrini. 9 consecutive batters retired by Kelly Colleran and the North Attleboro Red Rocketeers. 8 in a row retired by strikeout. Baglione did put a ball into play in the very first at-bat of the game. See if she can do that again. Big swing there, comes up empty.
The interesting thing about windmills is they actually get stronger as the game goes on. I think we're starting to see that.
Oh, 2 count now on Baglione. Might have taken her a pitch there to recalibrate her balance. That first swing nearly lost her footing.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch, and that is fouled off the screen.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Milford batters way up in the batter's box, so they get less of a look, and they're not choking up, so they're actually helping the pitcher. Look how far up.
Yeah, front foot nearly on the edge of the box. That's in the dirt. Strike 3. The throw down is in time to secure the out. Out number 1. 9th strikeout of the day for Colleran. Now everybody in the Milford lineup has struck out.
Conversation piece on the bus ride home.
They all have something in common. Ava Baglione 0 for 1 with the K. Into the screen, 0-1. I mean, there have been so few balls that Milford has even made contact with.
Yeah. I think she hit one foul her last time, too. Quick bat.
A little farther back in the
Yeah.
batter's boxes. That's out of the zone. One of the rare balls thrown this afternoon for Colleran.
We would, when we saw pitches like that, we go back and more deeper, so that we were trying to throw it into right field. We didn't think we could catch up to it and pull it, so position ourselves to go the opposite way.
It's only the 8th ball thrown by Colleran so far this afternoon. Big wind gust, the big swing, and a big miss there for out number 2 here in the top of the 4th inning. 11 in a row retired for Colleran, 10 by strikeout in a row. And Kay Pellegrini steps up to the plate. She did have a 2-2 count in her first plate appearance. In there for a strike, right at the tippy top of the zone.
The tippy top.
A Milford logo on the front of their helmets looks like the Hartford logo.
It does.
It's in there. Nope, that missed low, 1-1. Put into play towards short, stumbling and misplaying is McDavitt, and that will be the first hit of the game given up by Colleran, as Pellegrini will reach with an infield single. That's tough. That was popped up. The wind is blowing away towards first base, and just kind of ball hit a wall of wind and just hung up and landed in a tough spot for McDavitt to make a play. So it took 11 batters, and on the 12th, finally reached base.
Infield single. Tough play for the shortstop, too.
We have seen one leave the infield for Milford, so that's also a pretty big accomplishment against Colleran. Doesn't happen that often. Missed inside.
Good stop by the catcher.
2-1 count. Maeve Driscoll, the starter in the circle for Milford, trying to help out her team at the plate. Pops that on top of the Scarlet Hawks dugout. 2-2 count.
Again, we're seeing both pitches hitting.
Yep.
We didn't see that for years.
That gets away from Charette, and down to second goes Pellegrini. And the count is now full on Maeve Driscoll. Signs of life here for the Scarlet Hawks.
Anything at all can get them going.
Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, and there is the 11th strikeout of the game for Colleran. So by her standards, in a jam, able to get out of it with the strikeout.
Another off speed too, Jerry. The batter was way ahead of that.
Does give up the first hit of the game. One runner left on base.
These are tough games to coach because you want to. You feel for your players not being able to hit. But you got to stay up. You got to stay positive. It's really. It takes a special person to coach in a game like this.
Well, at least you have something to build off there. You got the hit against Colleran.
Yep. You know, people say, well, what's so hard about it? Well, as a coach, you're training your team to win, not just compete, not just to play well. You're training them to win, and this is a tough challenge today.
Little something going for them against Colleran. See if they can maybe build on that as the game goes on. For North, just trying to keep adding to their tally, get those bats going. So we were talking about it earlier. The offense is always the biggest question mark for the Red Rocketeers.
Yeah.
They've had some good pitchers here in the last few years, going back to Bella Erdy, and obviously that was a season where North thought that they were going to make a deep run. That season obviously canceled. But just one of the few lucky teams across the state that have a pipeline of pitchers going, and you go from high expectations to even higher with Colleran coming through.
Oh, you go from good to great.
Yeah.
You know, it makes all the difference if you've got a quality pitcher.
Maddie Bailey in the 9 spot will lead off for the Red Rocketeers. Colleran in the on-deck circle. In the hole is Ariana McDavitt. And the first pitch in this inning is high and out of the zone. So far, all 3 leadoff batters have reached in innings 1, 2, and 3 for North Attleboro. And a 2-0 count on Bailey. She's in a good spot.
Sure is.
To get herself on.
Yep, be patient now.
And with Colleran coming up, having runners on base is huge for Coach Wallace in North Attleboro. 3-0 count now on Bailey.
I don't swing for the next 2.
And there is another walk surrendered by Driscoll. 4 pitches and the free pass given up. That's the the 6th of the game surrendered by Driscoll. So Colleran comes to the plate. 2 walks, one of them was intentional. Has also scored 2 runs for North Attleboro. She's going to have a chance to go up against Driscoll here. First pitch into the screen.
Yep. She's a complete player. I bet she takes quite a bit of pride in her hitting.
Yeah. Oof, big swing at that one. 0-2 count. Really lunged towards the front of the batter's box.
Does she have a changeup?
0-2 count. 4 strikeouts this afternoon for Driscoll. Looking for number 6. And just missed outside.
Yep. Runner on first, not leaving the bag.
Up and out of the zone. Count even at 2. And again, Bailey pretty much anchored to the first base bag.
Yeah, I'd like to go a little further, see if you can draw a throw. Maybe it gets away and you get a bag.
And the count now full on Colleran. Doesn't matter if you're ahead 0-2 on her. You still need to work very, very carefully around the reigning Hockomock Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
Hit high in the air towards right field, hanging up in the wind, and Benina at second, able to make the catch for out number 1.
Just missed it.
So an infield fly to Benina for Colleran. First time she has not reached so far in the contest.
Struck out just about every batter and reached every time. What a day.
You mentioned her being a two-way player. Big reason why she was the Player of the Year in the Hockomock League. There were some other really good pitchers as that's hit hard into right, but behind it is Fernandez for out number 2. 1 pitch there to Fernandez.
Yep.
2 quick outs for Milford.
She got the pitch she wanted.
But going back to my point, one of the big reasons that Colleran was Player of the Year is because she is a two-way player and so good in both departments. There are other really good pitchers in the league, but I think the threat she brings at the plate, the reason she was handed that honor as Molly Willie looking to keep the inning going for North Attleboro.
I think that makes a big difference in the eyes of the selection group.
1-1 count now on Willie.
Milford pitches settled down nicely too.
She only has 1 walk in the last inning and 2/3. Hasn't given up any runs. That's hit in the air to center. Coming in was Baglione. Had to take a step back to make the catch for out number 3. 3 straight retired by Driscoll there to end the 4th inning. We head to the 5th. North Attleboro leads by 5 here on North TV.
W.H. Riley & Son has been delivering premium fuels for nearly 150 years. They also install boilers, furnaces, and water heaters that you can depend on. Today's heating systems use the latest technology, enabling them to be smaller but much more efficient than the equipment that used to occupy our basements. Let W.H. Riley's trained technicians install a heating system and give you peace of mind during our cold New England winters. Rely on Riley for all your heating needs. Asian's Garage has been serving the North Attleboro area for over a century. Asians provides 24-hour friendly towing and roadside assistance to get you back on the move. From lockouts to blowouts to dead batteries, they're your local AAA representative. Take care of your Massachusetts state inspections without taking out a chunk of your day. Asian's Garage, more than a century of service to the North Attleboro area. Paul and Nancy Bellum, owners of Bell's Powder Coating, are dedicated to the community and proud to be a presenting sponsor of North TV sports coverage. Bell's is an industry leader in electrostatic powder coating, a process that is environmentally green. Turning out 50 to 100,000 pieces per week, Bell's is one of the area's top companies. They're proud of their on-time delivery and quick turnaround. No job is too large, no job is too small, and their quality is second to none. Bell's Powder Coating, North Attleboro.
Top of the 5th inning for Colleran and the Red Rocketeers in the field. Gave up her first hit of the game in the 4th inning. And she'll face Maeve Williams, Gianna Fernandez, and Maddie Burns. 11 strikeouts for Colleran. And even the single was an infield single for Milford. So as dominant as expected and ahead of Maeve Williams.
Yeah, that single landed about 10 feet behind the pitcher's area.
Yeah, pretty much right in front of the second base bag. Ahead 0-2 on Williams, who struck out in the 2nd inning. The 0-2 pitch, up and out of the zone. Good eye there from Williams. Able to lay off that. We've seen some of the other Scarlet Hawks chase out of the zone.
Yeah. It's an intimidating reality when you face her.
That miss low, 2-2.
Nice change of speed.
Got a piece of it. We'll stay at 2-2. Williams playing first base today for the Scarlet Hawks. Driscoll, the opposite number of Colleran, is settled in, and the Scarlet Hawks offense has done the same, about as much as you could say a single is settling in against the pitcher. Still plenty of work to do, but they look a little more settled at the plate than they did through the first 3 innings.
That's a great observation. They really are.
And going down via the strikeout is Williams. Number 12 this afternoon. And that will bring up Gianna Fernandez, playing right field for the Scarlet Hawks. In her first plate appearance in the 2nd inning, she did strike out.
She had some action defensively, too.
I give credit to the Milford outfielders in that last half inning. There's a lot of wind up there, and had to judge some balls that were up in the air, moving all over the place.
She just put the bat on the ball, too.
Yep.
That's three swings this inning where they touched the ball.
Taps that one foul as well down the third base line. 0-2 count now on the right fielder. On deck is Maddie Burns. Pop straight up in the air. Stay at 0-2.
Is it time for that changeup?
She's really only gone to it a handful of times today, but I'm with you, Del. I think that would really put Fernandez out on the front foot. Decides to just blow one straight past Gianna there for strikeout number 13.
Yeah. I'm glad she doesn't listen to me. That was a much more exciting pitch.
Tailed into the hands there, Fernandez. It's a tough ball to hit. Maddie Burns, the catcher, looking to keep this half inning alive. Swing and a miss behind 0-1. That 0-2, that one was a little low there for Burns.
Yep.
O2 offering. It's cut on and missed. 3 up, 3 down for Colleran. 14 strikeouts now. And that is 4 in a row struck out by the North Attleboro senior. As we'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning, Charette, Palmer, and Hanwell coming up for North Attleboro. looks like this afternoon is going to be a tad bit easier for North Attleboro than their last game.
Well,
looking to push their record to 3-1 on the season. Beat Canton 10-0 to start the year. Lost a very hotly contested game here last week, 2-1 to Taunton, and then beat Mansfield 5-2. On that 5-run number again here today.
But that was a 10-inning game. The Mansfield
11,
win.
11 against Mansfield.
That's a lot of innings.
Yeah, right. Four extra innings, and I believe that game was on the road because for North Attleboro to score, to win that game by 3, that means that they were the visiting team. You had to play the bottom of the 11. So, yeah, you had 4 full extra innings. As Driscoll will ready herself for Mary Ellen Charette. Has walked and struck out this afternoon. Left on base in the first inning. And that's tapped into the ground right in front of home plate. 0-1 count on the catcher for North Attleboro. On deck, Lucy Palmer. Hit inside out at Bonina at second and gloved by the Milford defender for out number 1.
Good catch.
So line out to second. Lucy Palmer up at the plate. Palmer 1 for 2.
You know, Jared, you talk about having to speed up baseball, but you really don't have to speed up softball at all, do you?
No, you do not. Moves at a much brisker pace. Bonina called into action again. Able to make the play. 4-3. 2 up, 2 down for Driscoll. That will bring up Emma Hanwell. Yeah, you said yesterday the Red Sox game on Monday night, 2 hours.
Yeah, fantastic, except they lost.
I haven't watched a Red Sox game in probably 2.5, 3 years, something like that. 1-0 count.
Those old guys grew up with them.
In there for a called strike.
You know what, Jared? We never watched them. We listened to them on the radio. Yep. And we kept the score at home on a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard. And when TV started to pick more sports up locally, they became night games. It took the little kids out of watching them.
1-2 pitch, swung on and missed by Hanwell. So 3 up, 3 down for North Attleboro. That ends the 5th inning. Red Rocketeers leading by 5 as we head to the 6th here on North TV. Red Rocketeers up by a handful.
Paul and Nancy Bellum, owners of Bell's Powder Coating, are dedicated to the community and proud to be a presenting sponsor of North TV sports coverage. Bell's is an industry leader in electrostatic powder coating, a process that is environmentally green. Turning out 50 to 100,000 pieces per week, Bell's is one of the area's top companies. They're proud of their on-time delivery and quick turnaround. No job is too large, no job is too small, and their quality is second to none. Bell's Powder Coating, North Attleboro. Box Seats, a presenting sponsor of high school sports on North TV, is the place to be before or after the big game. They're also the place to watch the big game, with TVs in every room and the NFL Sunday ticket to catch your favorite team home or away. Box Seats has a lineup of menu items second to none that include grilled pizza, fish and chips, burgers, and more. Box Seats also has over 70 gluten-free items to choose from. Box Seats is located in Tower Square at the corner of Route 1 and Elm Street in North Attleboro.
8-9-1 due up for Milford, Kiernan, Bonina, and Baglione. Going to try their luck once again against Kelly Collar. Just the second time for Kiernan and Bonina at the plate. Kiernan is 0 for 1. Bunt dropped down, and it spins into foul territory. Willie was charging in from third.
Yep. Smart thing. If you're playing third, as soon as it gets out touch it, so it can't roll back in on you.
Back into the box is Kiernan. Trying to bunt once again and unable to pull back on the high offering. 0-2 count now.
Yeah, you see a bunter. If you've got control, just throw it a little bit higher because they can't get the bat on top of it.
Inside out, weakly hit towards Colleran. Out of the circle, has to throw from her knee, and the play made in time. 1-3 on the putout.
Yeah, and she goes right over and thanks the first baseman. That's a good teammate.
Yeah, that was a nice stretch and play by Palmer.
You know, Colleran realized that was the first baseman that did a good job there.
Grace Menina, 0 for 1, comes up to the plate. Pops up that bunt attempt into the screen.
A new strategy this inning.
Yeah, well, at the bottom of the lineup up, I think Scarlet Hawks just trying to get somebody on base.
Yeah.
See if Baglione in the leadoff spot, who's had a couple good at-bats, can figure out a way to move that runner along. 0-2 count here on Benina. Much easier said than done, though, to try to bunt somebody on if you're Milford.
Yeah.
And there's another strikeout for Colleran, number 15. That is out number 2 here in the top of the 6th inning.
The hard thing about bunting against a pitcher like that is the ball's coming in so fast, it's almost impossible to deaden it enough so it doesn't go right to an infielder. I'm sure they don't practice against pitchers that fast.
Baglione, who is 0 for 2 at the plate, takes a first pitch ball from Colleran. Yeah, it is so tough to practice against that. Driscoll's a nice pitcher. She's done well once she's settled in, but certainly doesn't have the velocity that Colleran does.
No. Many don't. Most don't.
1-1 count. Hit softly on the ground, put into play again to Colleran. A little bobble, the throw over to first, not in time.
Yep.
Infield single there. Going to be generous on that one.
Very generous, but a good man.
That wasn't quite I wouldn't say that was a big enough bobble to call that an error.
No.
Had a range to her right away from the glove. No. Second hit of the game, second infield single, bunt being shown, and bounces off the helmet of Charette behind home plate.
Not that it matters, but I would have scored it exactly the same way. We can only have one official scorer for North TV.
1-0 count on Baglione. This is Ava Baglione playing out in center field. Umpire cleaning off home plate just to give Charette an extra second to just get recomposed.
Yeah.
Pitch missed inside.
It's interesting. Of all the sports, I think the home place umpire works the closest with athletes on the field than any sport I've seen.
I think the count's 1-1. That's fouled into the screen. 1-2 count. 2 outs, 1 runner on. And the off-speed pitch gives Colleran strikeout number 16 of the afternoon. And that is the 3rd out here in the top of the 6th inning. So we'll flip over to the home half of the 6th inning. North Attleboro will send up Simmons, Foreman, and Bailey, all getting their 4th look at Driscoll.
By now, you've got it figured out.
Chance for North Attleboro to add some insurance runs before we head to the 7th inning. Got to imagine they're feeling pretty comfortable with the 5-run margin, but extra runs certainly don't hurt.
Yeah. Well, this one might be safe, so you anything you do now is getting ready for the future. Just we don't give up. We don't reach a level of run scored and say, okay, that's it. No, every bat is important. Every at bat is important.
Simmons is 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Excuse me, getting her third look at Driscoll, not her fourth, not quite yet. Chance for caller in if one of the batters reaches to get her fourth look at Maeve Driscoll.
I think as pleased as she is with her pitching, she'd like to get another shot at getting a hit. They walked her twice. She wants that. I'm sure she wants that shot at a hit.
Yeah, with those 2 walks, the 0 for 1 performance is going to hurt her batting average on the season.
It's nothing more exciting than having a bat in your hand and trying to hit a ball.
OBP still in good shape as that pitches across for a strike on Simmons. Especially when you have as much power as Colleran does.
Yeah.
Quick 0-2 count on Simmons. Every time she's at the plate, it's a chance to see a ball leave the ballpark. Pitch misses low and outside. Staying alive is Simmons. We'll redo the 1 and 2 count. Ooh, fouled off of the player in the on-deck circle there. I think it actually hit the bat. Is going to be a pinch hitter coming up for North Attleboro. Pull up the roster here. Rogers in the on-deck circle for North Attleboro. Pitch is in there for a call. Strike 3 on Simmons. That is the 6th strikeout of the game for Driscoll. And this will bring up the pinch hitter. First at bat for Mary Rogers. First pitch swinging on 1 count.
You know, you said 6 strikeouts. That's not a bad total for most pitches.
It's a really solid afternoon.
Strikeout an inning.
0-2 count on Rogers. Maddie Bailey in the on-deck circle. Popped up straight behind home plate. We'll stay at 0-2. Rogers on the roster last year for North Attleboro. The Red Rocketeers, to me, look like they've got some young players in this lineup. I think in the next few years, this offense is going to be pretty good. They've got some good size in the lineup, and I think it's going to equate to some power up and down the 9.
Yep.
2-2, up and out of the zone.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Two, up and out of the zone. Count is full. So Rogers, 2 quick strikes, has now got the count to full.
Here's the tough pitch if you're pinch hitting. I'd like to get on base, but I want to hit it. What do I do?
Oh, she wanted to get a piece.
She
ends
sure
up
did.
striking out. 7th of the game for Driscoll.
Hard to let it go by, even if it's outside.
2 outs. We'll bring up Maddie Bailey. Hit into the screen. 0-1 count on Bailey. If Bailey reaches, Colleran will come up in the form of the top of the order for North Attleboro. 1-1 count out of the zone. Two and one. Three-one count now on Bailey, who did reach with a free pass in the fourth inning. Grounded out to first base in her other plate appearance. And that misses low. And so 2 walks in a row for Bailey. We'll bring up Colleran.
Boy, I'd Walker.
Courtesy runner or pinch runner. As
I would walk this hitter. You can't fall behind by any more than you are now.
yeah, Foreman will run for Bailey. Colleran 0 for 1 with a infield pop-up to Bonina at second. 2 walks, 2 runs scored. I tend to agree with you there, Del. I wouldn't mess around with Colleran with 2 outs.
No. The wind's a little lighter now. She could pock one.
Well, she's trying there with that swing to dead center, and it is gone.
Oh, boy. Good for her, huh?
Well, we alluded to it in the last half inning that she would want one more chance against Driscoll, and pays it off with a 2-out, 2-run shot to dead center.
It's called being a competitor. That's why I'm such a good putter, because I'm a competitor, Jared.
That's one way to put it.
Oh, yeah. I'm a competitor.
3 runs scored, a home run, 2 walks. 16 strikeouts. Not a bad afternoon.
No, not a bad. You'll remember this day. At least till your next one when you do better.
Ariana McDavitt at the plate. First pitch grounded to short. Backhand by Baglione across the diamond in time. 6-3, but not before North Attleboro adds 2 more insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 7-0 North leading over Milford. We'll be back with the 7th in just a moment.
W.H. Riley & Son has been delivering premium fuels for nearly 150 years. They also install boilers, furnaces, and water heaters that you can depend on. Today's heating systems use the latest technology, enabling them to be smaller but much more efficient than the equipment that used to occupy our basements. Let W.H. Riley's trained technicians install a heating system and give you peace of mind during our cold New England winters. Rely on Riley for all your heating needs. Asian's Garage has been serving the North Attleboro area for over a century. Asians provides 24-hour friendly towing and roadside assistance to get you back on the move. From lockouts to blowouts to dead batteries, they're your local AAA representative. Take care of your Massachusetts state inspections without taking out a chunk of your day. Asian's Garage, more than a century of service to the North Attleboro area.
Top of the 7th inning, North Attleboro looking to close out win number 3 this season. Pellegrini, Driscoll, and Williams due up for the Scarlet Hawks. Pellegrini does have one of the 2 hits this afternoon off of Colleran. Pellegrini with 1 and Olivia Baglione with the other. And neither of them particularly hard hit.
Neither one of them reached the base. The ball didn't get as far as the base.
Yeah, one was stopped by Colleran just outside the circle, and the other came up short of the second base bag. Pellegrini's been a tough out to get, even in the other at-bats. Colleran jumps ahead, 0-1 on the designated player. Always nice to have that player right in the middle of your lineup.
Yep.
Added there for her offense. Pellegrini hits that in the air softly to short center, and that will fall in for her second hit of the game. 2 for 3, 2 singles for Pellegrini.
She's a player.
fought that one off the hands. Able to just lift it over the head of the second baseman, Tucker, and drops in front of Hanwell there in center.
Going to have a runner for her. I like that rule, Jared. It allows you to get a few more players in the game every time you suit up. It's a good rule.
So at the plate is Maeve Driscoll. 0 for 2 strikeouts against Colleran this afternoon. Leadoff batter on for the first time this afternoon. Driscoll giving the green light. For a moment, you thought she maybe lay down a bunt, but you're trading an out for a base when you're down by 7, which at the end of the day won't end up helping you.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it. Not with this many runs to get.
0-2 count on Driscoll. And there's strike number 3. 17th strikeout of the game for Colleran. So we'll bring up Maeve Williams. Williams is also 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Hit in the air down the first baseline, and it will drift into foul territory on the wind.
They can't catch up to it. They can't pull it.
Now, Pellegrini's been really the only player in the lineup who's has any sort of timing on Colleran. Pulls the string on that offering, 0-2 count on Williams. So tough to deal with when she mixes in that changeup.
Yeah.
Hit on the ground towards short underneath the glove of McDavitt. That's going to be hit number 4 of the game for Milford. So a single there for Williams with 1 out brings up Gianna Fernandez. And this goes back to that last half inning. Now you've got 2 on, 1 out, and if this was a 5-run deficit, you'd feel like you'd be in slightly better shape as another pinch runner will come in for Milford.
Milford's going to get just about every one of their players in. That's good.
That's Angelina Bonino running. So 2 pinch runners on the base paths right now for the Scarlet Hawks.
Look at where the outfielders are playing. That's a bit shallow.
Yeah, I was just about to say most of them are up. Hit into the screen and 1 count on Fernandez, who's 0 for 2 to this point.
I've never seen a center fielder that shallow.
You can see a couple feet behind the infield dirt. Chasing out of the zone is Fernandez, 0-2 count.
And you see the shortstop shading third base. So they're going to, looks like, looking towards a force play at third if they can get it.
Misses out of the zone, 1-2 count. Again, 2 on, 1 out. 2 singles so far this inning, sandwiched around a strikeout. Off speed, and there is strikeout number 18. And out number 2. And this will bring up Maddie Burns as the Scarlet Hawks are down to their last out.
So far out of the 20 possible outs, 2 have been provided by the defense. That's amazing.
Right on the average so far this year for North Attleboro. I mean, it's going to be, if she stays on this pace, it's going to be a huge strikeout total by the end of the year. Somewhere up in the, I think they played 20 regular season games, somewhere in that, 18, 20, something like that. So you're looking at 18 a game.
Should be up around 360.
It's unbelievable. And there is number 19 for the game, and that will close it out for North Attleboro. 19 Ks for Colleran, a 2-run home run, 7-0 final score here for North TV. For Del Malloy and the rest of the North TV crew, we want to thank you for tuning in, and we'd like you to enjoy the rest of your evening.